What if I told you the ancient Greeks didn't worship Aphrodite because they loved her? They worshipped her because they were absolutely terrified of her. Forget everything you think you know about the goddess of love. She started wars and cursed cities, and even the gods were afraid to cross her. By the end of this story, you'll never see Aphrodite the same way again. Welcome to Past Check, where today we're exposing the shocking truth about Aphrodite.
Wherever she walked, mortals felt awe and terror in equal measure. Her favor was a blessing, her anger a curse. Parents warned their children. Even pure intentions could turn tragic under Aphrodite's watchful eye. A single promise, a stolen queen, and 10 years of war, all for Aphrodite's pride.
What if the goddess of love was also the goddess of terror? 3 goddesses, 1 golden apple, and a decision that would doom a city. Even Zeus feared Aphrodite's power, her beauty, a weapon no god could resist. Aphrodite's revenge was psychological warfare, destroying families, warping love into a curse, desire twisted into horror, a curse so cruel it created beauty from tragedy. Temples weren't for love, they were built out of fear, to appease her wrath.
The real goddess wasn't a gentle matchmaker. She was a force of chaos, wielding beauty as a weapon and desire as a curse. Did you know more wars in Greek mythology were caused by Aphrodite than by Ares, the god of war? Or that her punishments were so brutal, even Zeus tread carefully? Drop a comment right now. What do you think was Aphrodite's most terrifying power? Let's see if you can guess what's coming. Aphrodite's birth wasn't peaceful. It was pure mythological horror. Cronus castrated his father Uranus and tossed the remains into the sea. From the foaming blood, Aphrodite emerged, fully grown, breathtakingly beautiful, and already dangerous. The Greeks believed this violent origin shaped her very nature. She didn't learn to be dangerous. She was danger, cloaked in irresistible beauty. Imagine a goddess born from the most violent act of betrayal in all mythology, emerging from bloody sea foam mixed with divine flesh and rage. Her first breath was taken in the aftermath of cosmic violence, and that violence defined everything she did. According to Hesiod's Theogony, one of our oldest sources, the event wasn't some gentle birth from sea foam like fairy tales suggest. This was divine blood mixing with ocean water, creating something beautiful yet terrifying. The ancient Greeks understood that anything born from such violence would carry that darkness within it forever. The Trojan War began because Aphrodite couldn't handle losing a beauty contest. Eris, the goddess of discord, tossed a golden apple marked "to the fairest" among the goddesses at a wedding celebration. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite all claimed it, and their argument became so heated that Zeus himself refused to judge. Instead, he chose Paris, a Trojan prince, to make the decision. Hera offered power over all of Asia and unlimited wealth. Athena offered victory in every battle and wisdom beyond measure. But Aphrodite promised him Helen of Sparta, the most beautiful woman alive. There was just one problem. Helen was already married to Menelaus, king of Sparta. But Aphrodite wasn't concerned about marriage vows or consequences. She enchanted Helen, making her abandon her husband, her daughter, and her entire life to run away with Paris. The result? 10 years of the most brutal war in ancient history, the complete destruction of Troy and countless deaths, all because Aphrodite's pride was wounded in a beauty contest. Heroes like Achilles and Hector died. An entire civilization was wiped from the earth. Thousands of soldiers perished on both sides. Families were destroyed. Children were orphaned. All because one goddess had to prove she was the most beautiful. Would you start a war over your appearance? Smash like if this shocked you. But the Trojan War was just the beginning. Aphrodite's personal vendettas were even more twisted and cruel. Reject Aphrodite, and she wouldn't just ruin you. She'd destroy everyone you loved in the most psychologically devastating ways possible. Take Hippolytus, son of the hero Theseus. His only crime was choosing to worship Artemis, the virgin goddess of the hunt, instead of Aphrodite. He valued chastity and purity over passion and desire. Aphrodite saw this as a personal insult. Her revenge was diabolical. She made his stepmother, Phaedra, fall desperately and obsessively in love with him. When Hippolytus rejected Phaedra's advances because he found them disgusting and wrong, she was so humiliated and heartbroken that she wrote a letter accusing him of rape and then hanged herself. Theseus found the letter, believed his wife's lies, and used one of 3 wishes granted to him by Poseidon to curse his own son. A sea monster emerged from the waves, spooked Hippolytus's horses, and he was dragged to death across the rocks. This wasn't just revenge, this was psychological warfare that destroyed an entire family through manipulation, lies, forbidden desire, and ultimately death. On the island of Lemnos, the women made the mistake of neglecting Aphrodite's worship. They were too busy with their families, their work, their daily lives to properly honor the goddess of love. Aphrodite's revenge was swift and devastating. She cursed every woman on the island with a foul, nauseating odor so revolting that their husbands couldn't stand to be near them. The men abandoned their wives and children, sailing to Thrace to find new women. The women of Lemnos, driven mad by humiliation, abandonment, and rage, made a pact. In one horrific night of coordinated violence, they murdered every single man who remained on the island: fathers, brothers, sons, elderly grandfathers. Lemnos became infamous throughout the ancient world as the Island of Women, a place where an entire male population was wiped out in a single night. It served as a terrifying warning that disrespecting Aphrodite could lead to mass murder and the complete destruction of society. Any modern revenge story looks absolutely tame compared to this orchestrated genocide by a goddess who felt ignored. But perhaps the most psychologically twisted curse of all involved King Cinyras of Cyprus and his family. Cinyras' wife made the fatal mistake of boasting that their daughter Myrrha was more beautiful than Aphrodite herself. The goddess decided to punish this hubris in the most disturbing way imaginable. She cursed Myrrha with an overwhelming, uncontrollable desire for her own father. Night after night, Myrrha was consumed by this forbidden passion that she knew was wrong, but couldn't resist. Finally, she disguised herself and tricked her father into sleeping with her repeatedly over many nights. When Cinyras discovered the truth about what had happened, he was so horrified and enraged that he tried to kill his own daughter. Myrrha fled, praying to the gods for help, and they transformed her into a myrrh tree. From that tree, weeping tears of resin, Adonis was born, the most beautiful man who ever lived, whom Aphrodite herself would fall desperately in love with. Aphrodite's vengeance was so twisted and powerful, it created the very person she'd become obsessed with. Even Zeus, king of all gods, feared Aphrodite's power. To humble her and show her what it felt like to be consumed by desire, he made her fall for a mortal shepherd named Anchises. From their union came Aeneas, who would eventually found Rome. Her sacred animals, like doves and swans, seem gentle and peaceful, but they're actually fiercely territorial and will fight to the death, just like Aphrodite herself fought for her pride and dominance. Temples to Aphrodite weren't built for romantic love. They were constructed to appease her wrath and avoid the disasters that came with mortals and immortals alike, who suffered simply for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or for failing to show Aphrodite the respect she demanded. Her influence seeped into every aspect of Greek life, not just love and marriage, but politics, war, and social order. City leaders would consult her oracles before making major decisions, hoping to avoid her infamous punishments. Parents told their children cautionary tales about the consequences of slighting the goddess, warning them that even the purest intentions could be twisted into tragedy under her gaze. Some of the most powerful families in Greece claimed descent from Aphrodite, not just for prestige, but as a shield, hoping that family ties might buy them a measure of protection from her unpredictable wrath. Aphrodite's dual nature, beautiful and deadly, loving and vengeful, made her the most complex and feared deity in the Greek pantheon. Unlike other gods whose domains were clear and limited, Aphrodite's reach extended everywhere. She could turn allies into enemies and lovers into rivals with a single whim. Her beauty was legendary. but it was also a weapon, capable of toppling kingdoms and destroying heroes. She didn't just inspire desire, she weaponized it, using it to manipulate mortals and gods alike to achieve her own ends. Even today, her myths remind us that love is not always gentle or safe. It can be wild, consuming, and even catastrophic. The story of Aphrodite is a warning from the ancient world. Never underestimate the power of desire, and never take for granted the forces that shape our lives. Her legends survived for thousands of years because they reflect a universal truth. What we love most can also be what destroys us. The ancient Greeks understood this better than anyone, building their rituals and stories around the hope that, by honoring Aphrodite, they could keep her on their side, or at the very least, keep her wrath at bay. So next time you see a statue of Aphrodite or hear her name invoked as a symbol of romance, remember the real goddess behind the myth, the one whose beauty brought empires to their knees, whose vengeance knew no limits, and whose power was respected by gods and mortals alike. If you found these stories as fascinating and chilling, as I did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps more history lovers discover these incredible tales. And if you want to join us for more journeys into the dark and dramatic corners of the past, make sure to subscribe to Past Check and ring the bell so you never miss a new episode. Which Aphrodite story shocked you the most? Was it her role in the Trojan War, her revenge on Hippolytus, or the terrifying Curse of Lemnos? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one and can't wait to hear your thoughts. And if you think there's a goddess or myth even more dangerous than Aphrodite, drop your suggestions for our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and remember, in history, as in mythology, the truth is often stranger and far more dangerous than fiction. See you in the next one.